Everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Muma's Coaching. Today I want us to talk about IUCD. IUCD in full means Intrauterine contraceptive device. Intrauterine contraceptive device. There are a couple of questions that my clients have been asking concerning the use of IUCD that I thought were of importance if I shared with you today. One of them being whether a woman can actually conceive while using an IUCD. 2. Whether a man or your male partner can actually feel the IUCD or the heart part of the IUCD while you're having sex. An IUCD comes in a package or a set like this. It contains the rods, we call them the trochas. Trochas are what you use to push the IUCD into your uterus. Then if you're keen enough, you'll note a T-shaped object on top here. That's what we call the IUCD, the actual thing that we usually put into your uterus. When it has been dismantled, an IUCD looks like this. It's T-shaped. You can see there's a T-shape with rolls of copper around it. These are rolls of copper. So the rolls of copper are what makes it commonly known as the coil. So IUCD provides protection or inhibits pregnancy using coil, using copper. It uses copper to inhibit pregnancy. It doesn't contain any hormone. I find IUCD use beneficial as compared to the hormonal methods in that when a woman has been using this and the expiry date has reached and a woman now wants to get pregnant afterwards, with the use of IUCD you are guaranteed of a quick return to fertility. If you compare the rate of return to fertility while using an IUCD and while using hormonal methods like Jadel, it's easier to return to fertility or quicker to return to fertility with the use of IUCD than while using hormonal methods like Jadel or Depo. That's the injection for 3 months. So with this, you are guaranteed of a quick return to fertility. Then another one, with the use of IUCD, you have protection or cover against getting pregnant for as long as 10 to 12 years, depending on the type of IUCD that you'll choose. 10 to 12 years. Then with that length of period that it covers or it inhibits pregnancy, you'll have lesser hospital visits seeking for booster doses. There are no booster doses for this. Once it has been placed, it's once for all. You just enjoy the benefits. So just like the hormonal methods, IUCD has a success rate of 99% and a failure rate of 1%. What does that one mean? It means that a woman can actually get pregnant while using an IUCD. You can actually get pregnant using IUCD. Though such cases are very rare. You'll find that it's 1 in 1,000 or 1 in another big population. So that one should not discourage you from using an IUCD. They have their benefits. The benefits are always outweigh the disadvantages. So you shouldn't find a reason to use this. Another thing that you need to know about IUCD is that since it contains no hormone, if you're having problem with the pressure or you are at an increased risk of adding weight, then I would recommend that you use the IUCD. It has no hormone, so there's no increased risk that you are going to gain weight or that your pressures are going to be elevated due to hormones. So if you fall under that category, IUCD is your best choice for that. So there are scenarios under which a woman can fall pregnant or become pregnant while using an IUCD. Number 1, extending the use of IUCD beyond the expiry date. You get that you've been told to come for removal of IUCD in 2020, then you decide to extend the period by months, by years and years. At that point, you're doing yourself harm. You won't be protected when you extend past the expiry date. Actually, you're going to get pregnant just for ignorance. Another circumstance under which you can get pregnant is when this coil has actually slipped out of the uterus. When it slips out of the uterus, you usually find it hanging maybe in your vaginal canal. It's not meant to be in the vaginal canal, so it will cease to act. It will cease to perform its function. You can actually get pregnant when it has slipped. So if you note that the coil has slipped, kindly, as soon as possible before you engage in unprotected sex, ensure that the coil has been reinserted to its right location. Another circumstance under which you can get pregnant is when you go seeking for a method of family planning. Let's say this coil, you are not on your menses, you're not on your menses, you've been advised to go and do a pregnancy test because you've been engaging actively in sex and you've not been using any other method of contraception in the past. Then you decide to ignore. You run to another small healthcare facility who are not even concerned about having a pregnancy test done. Then they insert it for you. At that point, you might be pregnant. You are inserting an IUCD. You will be causing more harm than good. The effect of inserting this when you're already pregnant is that you're going to restrict your baby's growth. So you are advised at any point when you're not sure on when last you saw your menses and you've been engaging in active sex, kindly have a pregnancy test done first before you insert an IUCD. And that one does not apply to IUCD only, it applies to all other methods of family planning. You have to do a pregnancy test first. So if you find out that you're pregnant while using this, don't remain in the I don't know zone for long. I don't know what to do zone. Be quick to act. Seek your doctor's help for it to be removed as soon as possible so it doesn't interfere with your baby's growth. The more you wait thinking about it, the more you cause harm to yourself and your baby. Question 2. Is it possible that one or a man can actually feel the coil itself during intercourse? When it has been inserted rightfully into the right place, that's the uterus, it's a no. No man can ever feel this coil during sexual intercourse in its right place. However old your man is, hata kama yeye ndiye akona kubwa kiasi gani, hata kama yeye ndiye akona chome ya doshi, he can never hit this coil during sexual intercourse when it's in its rightful place. But I don't want to rubbish all the complaints of men when it comes to hitting this thing. At times these things slip out of the uterus, and at that point when it slips, it's possible that your man can actually hit this thing, and it's also possible that you yourself can note that there's some changes that have occurred to the position of this thing. So you should visit your healthcare provider to check the exact location of this coil, and if need be, it be reinserted to continuously provide the inhibitory effect to pregnancy. So another thing that I want you to be keen on, or rather to be on a watch on, is the length of these two strings here. When the coil has been inserted into uterus, the only thing that remains hanging outside your vagina are these two strings that you see. These ones are a bit longer. They usually cut at 1 centimeter's length and then tucked into your fornices. At times they come out when you've stayed with this coil for some time. They come out of your fornices and hang loose inside your vagina. If you find them irritating, kindly come back or go to whatever where it was placed, get them tucked in. Most men don't even know. Most men cannot feel the difference between the strings and the vaginal membrane, so that one should not give you a worry about it. That one should not hinder you. The string should not hinder you from using this. I also want you to take in note of the length of these things. I know you're wondering, when I say you take in or not, you're wondering how you'll be able to see these things when they're in situ, when they're inside your vagina. It's very easy. When you go to bed, just play around with your fingers. It's not a sin. It's for your benefit. Play with your fingers, make some maneuvers down there, feel the strings. If you find them too long, lengthier than they were initially when they were inserted, kindly go back to your healthcare provider to recheck its location. Longer strings than they were inserted indicates that the IUCD itself has moved from its initial location, maybe out of the uterus to the vagina. So at that point, it's easiest to protect it. So you should be very quick to note the length. Another point is when you find out that the strings have grown shorter, or you can no longer feel the strings. At that point also, it means that the IUCD itself has relocated from the initial place of insertion and has moved maybe to another point of the uterus. So you should also seek medical help so that it can be checked and reinserted properly, so it continues to work perfectly. If you find my videos interesting, informative, enjoyable, subscribe for more. I also want to know the following about you in the comment section. 1. Have you ever used an IUCD before? 2. Has your partner ever complained to had hit this IUCD during sex? 3. Have you ever conceived while using an IUCD? Thank you, and thank you for watching.